back to a session two of Mindful Practices. I am Divine Akawabi Yemaj, and we will be discussing the second journal prompt, which is I wanted to see. Wait a minute, let me see and make sure this is live first. Um, okay, where it is. Okay, so we'll be discussing the second journal prompt, which is as a child, in what ways was love expressed? Hugs, kisses, gifts? Because we know that when you are a child and when you don't receive this affection that a child desperately crave, because that's all a child want is their parents' attention, it becomes normal. And so my theory is that this is how the five love languages is developed. As an adult, you may enjoy receiving gifts, but is that your real love language? Or was it the way that your parents or your grandparents or even your guardians used to show you they're loved, or to show you that they love you? And let's not move on before I stress that our parents, and they are and they were people too. They had issues long before and trauma long before we would ever thought of love, before they ever thought about having children. So this segment is a way to connect back to with your inner child, of course, and maybe heal some issues with your own parents, or married, or reparenting yourself. So whichever way you want to take from this, it's up to you. So now let's dive into some issues that the child may develop if this nurturing is not met. Um, from a psychological and neurobiological perspective, affection, specifically physical touch, like hugging, is a fundamental biological need in early childhood, not merely a preference. When a child experiences a lack of physical warmth, often referred to in developmental psychology as tactile deprivation or skin hunger, it leaves distinct emotional, relational, and physiological footprints that extend well into your adulthood. So, a way that they deal with this is number one, attachment dysregulation and relational patterns. Affectionate touch is the primary mechanism through which infants internalize safety and security. You know, like when a mother first have her child, they want the child close to the mother, like in the bosom, skin to skin feel. So even as infants come out the womb, they want this. They want this affection. They want this touch. And without it, adults frequently develop insecure attachment styles, dismissive, avoidant attachment. Many adults adapt by learning that physical or emotional closeness is unavailable or unsafe to them. They may pride themselves on extreme self reliance. They may feel uncomfortable with affection or pull away when romantic partners seek intimacy. So I'm pretty sure we know someone like this. Um, Anxious, preoccupied attachment. So alternatively, some adults develop a persistent underlying fear of abandonment, hyperfixating on reassurance and overinterpreting minor shifts in a partner's warmth. Um, Touch aversion versus touch hunger. An individual may feel deep discomfort, rigidity, or anxiety when touch. This is touch aversion, or conversely, an experience an overwhelming, hard to satiate need for physical contact. So, nervous system, the biggest one, nervous system, physiological framing, physical touch in early life directly impacts the development of the autonomic nervous system. We know this nervous system need to be re it need to be rewired. Vagal tone and stress response. Soft, safe touch stimulates the vagus nerve. It promotes parasympathetic rest and digest activity. Adults deprived of early touch often exhibit lower vagal tone, making them more susceptible to chronic stress, baseline anxiety, and difficulty returning to calm after a trigger. So emotional self-regulations like hugs acts as an external emotional co-regulation. And without an adult modeling physical self-soothing, children grow up lacking eternal breaks for emotional distress, leading to emotional flooding or complete disassociation under stress is a huge one. So which we know that stress is like the biggest thing. I think at a lot of the diseases come from just stress alone. Like the whole world is stressed at this point. We all stressed. The whole world is stressed. I can't see the comments on this part, but I can see y'all over there. Hi, everybody. So, next is self concept, intimacy, and alexithymia. We are going to look into the psychological dimension and impact of childhood tactile deprivation. So, we're going to, their core worth is going to be deep seated. Implicit belief that one is inherently unlovable or defective, as touch conveys worth before a child can process words. So alexithymia is difficulty identifying, naming, or expressing feelings, often because bodily sensations were rarely validated through comforting contact. Somatic manifestations is unprocessed emotional tension, frequently manifests as physical discomfort, chronic muscle tightness, or digestive disturbances. So this goes all the way deep to affecting your organs. That's why it's so important to understand what some of how where some of your ways come from, because as a child like when you're born, you're like born with a clean slate. You don't have all these issues, and as you grow up, you develop these issues as you grow up, depending on how you were parent, depending on circumstances. So, the path forward, neuroplasticity, touch deprivation in childhood shapes early development, but it does not dictate adulthood. The brain remains malleable neuroplastic, so adults can repattern their nervous system through somatic therapies like body work, deliberate practices of safe physical connection, self-compassion, and secure adult relationships. And in this day and time, it's like as adults, it's kind of like difficult to make friends because we are so we just know how it is to be an adult. I don't know, maybe we have trust issues too, but being able to secure adult relationship in these times seem like it's a risk. I don't know, children, they seem to know how to make friends easily, and I don't know. So interventions or what therapeutic approaches and somatic exercises help adults heal from childhood tactile deprivation. So healing from early tactile deprivation involves re-educating the nervous system, because touch and emotional regulation are encoded in our bodies long before our language develops. Traditional talk therapy alone can sometimes fall short. So interventions that combine top down cognitive awareness with bottom up somatic work tends to yield the deepest results. So, evidence based therapeutic modalities, somatic experience, developed by Dr. Peter Levine. He focused on tracking physical sensations like tightness, warmth, or tingling rather than just your thoughts. Therapies help clients gently titrate and release stored nervous system activation without overwhelming the body. Sensory motor psychotherapy merges somatic techniques with attachment therapy, or theory. It directly addresses how implicit childhood memories, like the absence of a comforting hug, manifest in physical posture, muscle tone, and movement patterns, eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. Useful when tactile deprivation is tied to relational neglect or trauma. Um, and so, eye movement helps process early emotional memories and shift core negative beliefs, like such as I am unlovable. Hakomi method is a mindfulness centered somatic therapy that uses gentle experimental probes in a state of self awareness to uncover and transform deep seated core beliefs about physical closeness and safety. And second, we have practical somatic exercises for nervous system repatterning. These exercises help reestablish eternal safety. They increase the body awareness and they gradually build tolerance for physical comfort. You have self soothing touch, the butterfly hug. It promotes bilateral brain stimulation and emotional grounding. So you cross your arms over your chest, so that your fingertips rest just below your collarbones or in your upper arms. You close your eyes and or you have a soft gaze and alternate tapping your hands gently against your shoulders like the fluttering of a butterfly's wings. Pair this with slow, deep abdominal breaths for 1 to 3 minutes. And I may like do these meditations, like these guided meditations. I think I did one. It was good. So we also have the deep pressure and proprioceptive input activates the parasympathetic rest and digest response. So when the nervous system lacks early touch, firm, predictable pressure offers a sense of containment. You can use a weighted blanket, um, which can be like 10 to 50% of your body weight. You can wrap yourself snugly in a heavy quilt or try self hug squeezes, pressing firmly down your arms from shoulders to wrists to signal safety to your perceptive receptors. So, three, we have boundary and somatic tracking. So, this builds agency and self ownership. You can sit comfortably and place one hand on your forehead and the other on your chest or your stomach. Pay attention to the physical sensations of your own warmth and hand weight. Notice any impulse to pull away or lean in. This practice helps distinguish safe, intentional contact from non-consensual or overwhelming touch. Then we have the vagal nerve. The stimulation via vocalization triggers the relaxation response. So you can inhale deeply through your nose and exhale, create a low, resonant humming sound or a roo sound. The vibrations stimulate the vagus nerve in the throat and the chest cavity, lowering the heart rate and soothing the physiological state associated with emotional abandonment. So then we have three, the safely re-engaging with touch and introducing physical contact should always occur at a pace that feels safe, respecting personal boundaries, approach, and how it helps. So now we're going to go into like how these different approaches um, helps. The therapeutic body work, licensed massage therapy, Kona psychotherapy, or acupuncture in a clear professional setting allows the body to experience safe, non demanding touch. Animal assisted interaction, petting a dog or a cat relaxes oxytocin without the complex social or boundary anxieties that human contact can sometimes evoke. You'll notice that when we go out in public, or you'll notice the rise of what are they called? The emotional pets, like the emotional, I forgot the name, but this is kind of like what that is, the animal assistant interaction, because pets can have an effect on um your social life. And now I notice a lot of people like they can't live without their emotional support pet. And because it is a lot more um anxiety stricken when you've been around adults. It's like when you're around adults, you gotta sometimes be somebody that you're not. You gotta put on, I don't know, it's like you gotta put on a show. So consensual partner exercises. So practicing clear yes, no, stop communication with a trusted partner while engaging in simple contact, such as holding hands for 30 seconds. It helps rebuild relational trust. So these were some of the things that I wanted to talk about and what affects a child when they are not shown this type of nurturing. What type of adult does this creates when they don't receive any hugs or affection, or even sitting down, talking to you? What how does that, what type of adult would that person be? And if that person is like that as an adult, what are ways that we can, what are some exercises that we can use that we can help this adult um kind of unlearn or unlearn some of these behaviors. So that's what I wanted to do. Hi, hi everybody. This thing, I don't, y'all, I was having a hard time with this. I didn't think it was gonna work, but it did. But on this thing, you can't see, or maybe I'm not doing no premium, so I don't know. I can't. Hi everybody. Hi, hi. I can see it now. Luckily, I had my stream up. So yeah, no, luckily I can see it over here, but that's what I wanted to come on here and share. Like I said, so we will be reading the journal prompts and going through a journal prompt um every week. And we're going to be doing this from my healing journal. So I'm going to take some things from my healing journal, and I just want to come and do live some live journal prompts. Journaling is a mindful practice, and we're going to be doing going through different mindful practices. First, we're going to start off with journaling. Who knows when the next one's going to be? And I hope everyone enjoys here. I don't even know what day I'm going to be posting every week, but just know I'm going to be live, and you come hang out, learn some ways to um kind of, reparent yourself. Pretty much that's basically what this is about. And learning how to reparent yourself in different healing modalities, because there's so many of them. And that's all I have for you today. And until next time, gods and goddesses, peace.